Welcome to Robbie Williams Rewind. We are the champions. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lucy.
And along with help from special guests, we take you on an in-depth rewind through the solo career of multi-award-winning singer, songwriter and entertainer Robbie Williams.
Today, we're thrilled to be welcoming back one of our previous special guests to the show, alongside a brand new one. Welcome back, Richard Scott, and hello to his good friend, Scott Ralph. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
You all right?
Thanks for welcoming us to your studio.
Well, it feels a lot smaller with walls in it, but yeah.
So back in August 2022, we chatted to Rich and his two brothers, Kelvin Andrews and Danny Spencer, alongside Scott, their Rob Stokie songwriting team that you'll have heard him talk about lots over the years. Rich, you did say that you'd be up for a sequel episode on the podcast, so here we are.
Yeah, and number 3 that follows this.
And 3.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
okay, we're ready for 3.
So before we get into the songs you two have written together with Rob, let's rewind back to your beginnings in music, Scott. We know your brother is renowned music producer and songwriter Mark Ralph, who's worked with Years and Years, Clean Bandit, Rudimental, and tons of other big artists. Like Kelvin, Danny and Rich, did you grow up in a musical family too?
Yeah, I did. It was largely down to my dad's enthusiasm for music, really. My dad's an artist and he's also a musician. And when we were younger, he was in bands and we would get to see the bands playing, and he would just really encourage us to. I think I started playing guitar when I was about 6,
Right.
and Mark had already been playing for a couple of years. So I was watching Mark and watching my dad, and my sister played as well. My mum played a little bit, but it was very much driven, by my dad. So yeah, there was, and we didn't have a TV.
Oh my goodness.
Which is quite a big deal.
Yeah.
It went wrong, and my dad threw it away, and we didn't have another one till I was about 13 or 14.
Wow.
By which time I was the odd one out at school for not knowing what, the Dukes of Hazzard was or anything like that. That's how old I am. And
I'm older.
Yeah.
Shut up.
We would, me and my brother were always in bands and stuff like that, and I just ended up going off on a tangent, as I do, and learning other instruments. So I was always in Mark's shadow with guitar because he was that bit, a couple of years older than me and much better than me. So I ended up. My dad said, "Wow, why don't you play bass and then you can accompany Mark?" Yeah, great idea. I got a bass. Which was, and we weren't a family with a lot of money, but we worked out a way of getting this stuff. So we would, me and my brother and my dad would jam, with my dad was on piano and vocals and whatnot. And then, not that long after that, I put my own little drum kit together with buckets and stuff. And my dad said, right, I think, well, we ought to get you a drum kit. You're obviously really into that. It's probably quite annoying as well.
Yeah.
The sound,
Yeah.
So it just went from there. And which has been very useful, playing lots of different instruments. We've it's been very useful for us in a production sense.
Much cheaper.
Much cheaper, yeah. Exactly, which is the main thing. We save money. So that's so yes, it was very much a musical, and there's music in the family going back generations as well.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
On my mum's side and my dad's side. My dad's dad was a pianist and a vocalist, and my mum's granddad was a professional French horn player and was a band leader in like a brass band, traveling brass band kind of thing. So yeah,
So it's in your DNA.
so it's apparently so. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah. Who were your musical influences when you were growing up?
And that was a
Me.
great. Yeah. That's actually true.
Yeah.
I've almost
He was quite a big one, actually. Rich was, but
big enough.
But yeah. But
Sorry.
before then, my dad's taste was so eclectic. So we would literally be listening to everything from John Williams, to Black Sabbath, and everything in between. So. The Beatles, obviously, Hendrix, the Police, but then also, honestly, there was sort of no boundaries to what we would be listening to, and so I think that was really God, that was a great thing of growing up in our house, was that there was always, something interesting, something new and interesting going on. It wasn't just, I'm just into this kind of music and that's what we listen to, So yeah, hugely eclectic, really. Yeah.
So how many instruments can you play now?
Right, I thought this was going to be a sort of an hour and a half, because otherwise, if he's going to list them all, but yeah, rattle a few off, because
thing is, when you say play as well, there's some which I'm more, I've kind of,
you're absolutely proficient on.
And then there's others which I'm less proficient on, but I really enjoy. I don't fear picking up an instrument. I think the reason a lot of people don't play lots of instruments is because they just sort of feel like they can't, and I can't pick that up. And but I've never sort of feared that. I've always enjoyed just going, right, certain instruments appeal to me, so I'll pick them up and have a go. But it goes everything.
The exception being the communal nose flute. You don't like.
Correct. I hate the communal nose flute. So drums, bass, guitar, piano, bit of piano, vocals, do Latin percussion and stuff, and then throughout the years of working with Rich, the brass instruments have just literally like multiplied like germs. So it started off with the trumpet, right? When quite many years ago, and then when we got into doing all the swing sort of stuff, we said, it's a little bit limiting trying to do a big band brass thing with
the trumpet. That's what you had.
The trumpet. So we moved on to like trombones, French horns, double B flat tuba, baritone horn, tenor horn, flugelhorn, flute. Yeah, we've done some flute stuff, and I've even done cello on some records. Right. Perhaps not. Have I ever done it with our projects?
We did some violin on the original version of Morning Sun. Remember?
Yes.
And it was.
But I would love to say, I must add, I'm not a cellist.
Right.
I'm not a double B flat tuba player, but I play them, and I think when you're used to doing session musician stuff where you know what's needed, and it's great working with Rich, because Rich has really got a great producer head, so he'll go, I won't think of something, he'll say, well, can you try it like this? Something I hadn't thought of, and in the end we'll get the sound we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it's a lovely sort of symbiotic relationship, and it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love it, Yeah.
And of course, this is a Robbie Williams podcast.
Yes.
And Rob's nickname at one point for Scott was "Where's Prince?" Where's Prince? Yeah.
Oh dear.
So there you go.
Yeah, I definitely can't fill those shoes.
Well, they're too small for you as well.
Oh no! I knew that was coming. Anyway,
sorry. Sorry, you did ask for comedy.
Well,
didn't you?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
What's your favourite instrument? Would you enjoy
Favourite
playing most?
instrument? Oh. Do you know what? I've reached the stage now where I don't know what I don't know what that is. I really when I'm really in the zone and I've got the right song, I really enjoy singing. I find that to be just the greatest expression, just singing. But drums was definitely, you could class as being my first instrument for many years.
Yeah.
I taught drums, I did a lot of session drums, and that was the thing from about the age of about 10 that I just focused on big time.
Yeah.
But I played the others because I was songwriting as well and doing all that stuff. But drums was a really big thing. But over the years, it's just become blurred. It really has. I can't, every time I pick up any instrument, I just really enjoy it.
Yeah.
One of the things I might add in there, and if Mark ever listens to this, then we'll actually make sure he does. I think I personally think he's a better guitarist than his brother now.
No way, man! You can't say that.
I've said it. Listen, Mark, he's better than you.
No, I don't think so, Mark. I'm just letting you know.
I can say it.
There's an age-old respect for me, with me and my brother, and I don't feel like I can ever say something like that.
Right. Well,
Mark will be like,
we heard some of your singing earlier on, and it was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's also annoying, isn't it? So all these instruments,
absolutely, really good. So you two met when Scott was just 11, I believe, when you played drums in Rich's funk band. So tell us about that. How long did you play together in that band? Tell us about that time.
Well, how we was a little bit older than that. Otherwise, it makes you sound a bit dodgy. No, I think you were a bit older.
You're a little bit older than that, right?
Yeah, but a little bit older. But not, he was still, but he was
Yeah.
you were at school still,
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, I
You-
was.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But we,
Crazy, isn't it?
I think. Well,
Sorry.
it started off that you were on the periphery of it, weren't you? Because there was another drummer.
I was,
and
yeah.
that was your main instrument, as you've already
Yeah,
explained.
and he actually taught me drums as well for
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a great drummer. Yeah.
And then did you come in as percussion later, then do drums, or did you do
Yeah.
drums and then progress to percussion?
Started with percussion.
Yeah,
With Laurie, who was on drums at the time.
yeah.
With him, and then Laurie left, and I did drums for a short while.
Yeah,
And then the band kind of
split up as such.
dissolved.
But I don't.
because my drumming wasn't.
But Scott was always there. To be honest, even when he wasn't playing the band, because his brother was in the band,
Yeah.
Scott was always there.
Right.
And
Well, I was a fan of the band before I joined, actually, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I was, like Rich said, I was about 15, 16 when I first met Rich and when my brother first joined the band. And I was just blown away. I really loved the music, and I'd come to the gigs and be the annoying guy at the front knowing all the songs.
Yeah.
And then I joined on percussion, which was just amazing.
Yeah, well,
But bearing in mind, Rich was 26 and I was 16. To me, that was like, wow,
Yeah.
far away adult in the future,
Yeah.
you know. But actually,
just give me age away. But there we go. I'm not bothered by any.
You don't know what my age is now.
I'm not
so-
bothered by any of that thing. Anyway.
It's just a number.
But the point is, there's 10 years between us. But
yeah.
I don't know what you're like with friends of yours or people. There's no age thing for
No,
me. I
yeah.
haven't got that anymore.
Yeah.
No.
You know, when you're 25 and someone say 50, you think, oh my god. Or even 60 and they're
exactly.
35, you think, oh my god. But I've never thought that way anyway. I've always mixed with older people and younger people. It's been no different to me. Yeah. It's too serious, that was for me.
It was. That was a serious moment.
Sorry.
Tell a joke. Yeah.
So, Scott, can you remember the first time you met Kelvin and Danny?
Well, what you got to remember as well with Calvin, Danny, in particular Danny, I'd heard Danny on the radio before I met him,
Right.
and it was like, there's these guys from Stoke that have got to number 3 in the charts, and I'm just listening to that. And bearing in mind, I was a musician at the time. That would have been 1990, so I'd have been about 14, and I was listening on the radio, just thinking, wow. People from Stoke in the charts doing something really cool. So they were like, to me, they were distant heroes, you know what I mean? And then I think the first time I got to know them in any way, shape or form was when an amazing thing happened with my brother, which was he played guitar on Sister Sledge, We Are Family remix that Sure As Pure did, which was awesome. And
The reason for that, because the multi-track came
go on.
over from...
Yeah.
So there was the actual. It wasn't just a copy. It was using the original stuff. And Nile Rodgers' guitar was missing from the track.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? In those days, there's no.
I didn't know this, by the way. That's brilliant.
Did you not know that bit?
No.
That's why he played it, because it was missing.
No, I didn't realise.
So of all the things to be missing, it's probably one of the.
Yeah.
So literally, Kelvin, they were in Nottingham, and Danny when Kelvin rang me said, "Do you think Mark could?" Because he was the guitarist of the band. "Do you think Mark could replay this guitar?" Because in these days, you could ring up the record company probably now and go, "Oh yeah, I'll get it off. I'll send it to you in a minute."
Yeah.
Those days, it would physically have to come. So you'd have to wait weeks for it to come over from America. So do you think he can do it? So that's when he got in his car and went over to. Did he take his Strat? Did he have a Strat?
I think he took.
Or did he hire one?
I think he did. He have a Strat?
He
He had a Telecaster.
Yeah, I
but-
don't think he did. He's done
No,
on
he
a
probably
Strat.
didn't have a Strat.
So
yeah,
he went over and if you listen, I mean, I'm joking about the Mark and the thing. They're both great guitarists, but the point is, you can't tell the difference on that record.
Wow.
I mean, it's much down to Danny's engineering to get the exact sound.
Well, do you know what the interesting thing was? Is that was a turning point in Mark's career.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because he had the choice at that point of either going to university to do an engineering degree, or be a full-time musician, and go for that road.
Yeah.
And he said when he went and did that session, he said it was the weirdest thing because we'd been playing in, like semi-professionally sort of bands, you know, and not, you know, not experienced that level where you've got to get it exactly right. And so he went and he said it was amazing. He said Danny just kept saying again, 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 and it kept on going. He said I couldn't believe it. A 40th take he kept. I thought all of them were great, you know. And it's like, and he realised, he said, no, it's that specific, and that's what Mark's like as a producer now. Like you can't get anything past him at all. I do a lot of brass and stuff for him, and if I've done something like tweaked a little bit, he'll go, yeah, you know that bit on bar 49, you tweaked. Can you do that again? He knows, you know. And he said when I did that take, and then basically we were listening to the radio on Sunday, the charts, and watching it climb the charts, and it got to number 5. And Mark's first PPL check from that was about, I hope I'm not disclosing too much, shouldn't he? It was
about $2,000, wasn't it?
It was about $3,500. Did he tell you $2,000?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
never got my call.
So it was about $3,500, and Mark was 19, I was 17, and my jaw was dropped. It's like, wow, you can play something and earn $3,500 for, like, you know, a session. And Mark was like the same. Wow, this is what I'm doing. And then about, you know, maybe a year or so later, we went down to London, and he's been there ever since. And just, you know, from very small beginnings, he's worked his way up to what he's doing now. But yeah, that's very interesting. That was down to Mark's turning point was down to Rich, Dan and Kells, what they were doing. Wow. Do you know what I mean? So we're very intertwined, very linked families, really. Wow. My first meeting with Kelv, which is brilliant. We were doing, it was a Max the Sax gig. Yeah, I was there as a fan, right, watching everyone and like really getting into it, having a few drinks. Yeah. I was only like 16 or something, or 17, probably drinking Bass or something at the time. Too much of said drink. Kelvin was doing a DJ set afterwards, and I was like, man, your DJ set's amazing. This is brilliant. Really good to meet you. Put my hand over to shake his hand, stepped on the power connection, switched the whole thing off. And unfortunately, Kelv was like, he was a bit flustered, but he saw the funny side of it. That was my first meeting with Kelv.
There's a slight other story. I don't know if you know the story. So your brother was doing the sound for the brand new Heavies. I
know this one.
And because he got us free tickets, which was great. And me and his buzz load of us went up to see him. Mark's doing the sound, and I kept getting him drinks. So he's behind this huge desk. Brand new Heavies are on stage. Yeah. And I'm getting these drinks, and he said, "Oh, just watch it because I think they're watching me, you know, because I'm doing the sound. I'm in charge here." And that's all right, no problem. So he was chatting away to me like that, and he must have touched this button, which had got another programmed mix. And when he touched it, all the sound went off on stage. And the brand new Heavies kept on playing, and you could see Mark going, panicking to realise what he'd done. Obviously, it was just a switch to switch it back again, like a comparison. Like if you're doing two mixes and you can go, what did it sound like before? And he kind of does that with the faders. But you can see this bloke, he must have thought he's gonna pull me up here because I've been drinking all this beer. He's been, but yeah, another sound off in a very crucial moment. Yeah.
Wow. So those are your foundational.
Runs in the family, it's in the DNA.
Your foundational years, and very interconnected, and you know, had a lot to do with where Mark went. Yeah. So you went your separate ways but stayed in touch. Yeah. And Scott, you set up your own studio and worked as a session musician for many years. Any highlights from that period?
Highlights.
How was it being a session musician?
It was great. There's one thing that sticks in my mind if you're talking about being a session musician, which was I'm a massive fan of this guy called Roy Ayers, right? Who's like a American jazz funk sort of vibes player. Yeah. In fact, so much so I used to play his music in bands and all sorts. Yeah. And I got the opportunity to play drums for him. Oh, which was like, wow. Yeah. But I had to turn it down because literally the gig date was the same date as the expected birthday of my youngest son. Oh. So it was like, Roy, sorry, I can't make it. Cry. Oh. Yeah.
Because your brother played guitar for him, didn't he?
Yeah, Mark played guitar for him. Exactly. It does. Probably still does if he comes over.
We quite like the nepotism thing.
Yeah.
But why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's, you know, a lot of the stuff. You know, I've done worked a lot with Mark over the years, and he's been, you know, he's branched out and gone down to London, and then a lot of more opportunities have kind of come out. There's another funny one as well, which is this was through Mark as well, which was I started playing the trumpet when I was about 21. So I remember the trumpet when I was 21, and no sooner had I started playing it that Mark said, "Oh, Scott, you play trumpet? Great." He said, "I've been asked."
Just 2 seconds. You know,
Please
Mark's
do.
quite his cool reputation's going out the window, right?
Oh
now.
yeah, it's out the window. I'm quite happy to assist in that process. So basically, so he said, "Great, I'm doing the music for the last Blind Date series. Do you fancy doing the trumpet on it?" I was like, "Yes, get in." So I went down, and the same trumpet I'm playing now was on the last Blind. It was me on the last Blind Date series. So that's another funny. I like that one. But yeah. So
That's a good claim to fame.
it's not the coolest claim to fame, but yeah.
And on that note, full circle, we went round to Silla's
Full
house
circle,
Oh.
yeah.
to because we were going to do a track with her just quickly,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a weird little
A little, yeah.
circle of things of all the people we could have.
Absolutely.
Well, she died shortly after that.
Literally,
We never-
yeah. It was a couple of weeks
Yeah,
before
yeah,
she died,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
Oh God.
And we were going to
So
do one of the songs.
Getting a reputation for killing people off with
Yeah.
it.
Well, I've heard Blind Date's coming back, so maybe
Really?
maybe they'll ask you back to do.
Well, you know,
Or maybe
if they
they'll
knock at
recycle
my
the old
door,
tune,
I'll
you
be
know?
ready with the same trumpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what brought you two back together, and why did it take 20 years? Apparently.
So we'll bring Mark up briefly again. He was having a sort of Facebook reunion at the time. So he's back up from London, and he sort of let it out there. I think he might have rang me and said, "Are you coming out for a beer? Because I'm coming up." And so yeah, fine. I think Marie was going to come out. She was a bit ill, so she didn't. It wasn't an excuse. She genuinely was ill. So anyway, so off I toddled to Newcastle, Newcastle under Lyme. That is not on time, and there's a lot of people there, so it wasn't really going to talk to Mark much. And then there's a guy standing there, obviously I know who it was. So we just started chatting. We ended up having our own kind of conversation, our own reunion, for want of a better expression. I started talking about the fact that, I'd been doing some stuff with Robbie Williams. But the main thing was, he started on about computers and using Logic is what we still use. I said, "Well, I've got a problem with my computer." He said, "I can fix that for you if you want." So that was the start of it. I pursued him like nothing because I couldn't.
I'm so glad you did.
I
I was just being lazy. Going, "Oh yeah, Rich, yeah, of course, yeah."
Yeah.
What did we talk about the other night?
I pursued him
Yeah.
to get this thing because it was, if your computer goes off, what have you got? You got
Yeah.
nothing. So anyway, we got together. We did fix it. I'm sure we did. Or did I? Yeah,
we did. Yeah,
we fixed it.
Yeah.
And in the process, he came to the little studio here, and I said to him at one point, "Oh no, I said, can you play a bit of stuff on your studio? Can you play a little bit of stuff on, a bit of bass on one of the tracks?" "Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. So we kind of started that way. There was no other intention.
Yeah, it was just literally to put. There was a track you'd done, and it was a bit Beatlesy, but you'd got sort of programmed
It's a shock.
drums on it. Say again.
That's a shock.
That's a shock, yeah. and we call you Nick Beatles, don't we?
Nick Beatles,
And
yeah.
anyway, so it was a bit Beatlesy, and I said, "Well, you could probably do some real drums on that, a bit of a Ringo vibe." So yeah.
So we had a day in the studio,
Yeah.
in Scott's studio.
Yeah.
Put the drums down, and
Bit of
it
bass.
just I don't know where you get this from me and him, but we love a laugh. We've got the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
sense of humour, really. Well, he's actually not mine, but, there we go. But we. So I just said at the end of the session, "It's been great today." He says, "Yeah, he has." I said, "I'll tell you what, do you fancy writing some songs with me?" And he went, and his words were, "I 150% want to write some songs with you."
Yeah.
And that was the start.
Yeah.
So then you came round here,
Yeah.
and I got the starting points of Morning Sun,
Yeah.
and a few other things, but particularly that I thought was a good idea at the time. So I sat and played the chords, and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Well, I love it." I said, and I think it might have been a Friday.
Wow.
I think it was
your
a-
memories
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got a good memory. I remember that from the
Yeah.
last episode.
I think it was a,
some of your red.
it was a Friday. It was
Just
a
a little
Friday.
bit.
And what I
Will do.
remember distinctly was that you went away with how I'd give you the chord pattern, because I wouldn't know what chords I was playing. I just said, "It's these." Wrote the notes down or something. I gave you the, how do you rate the morning sun? The whatever, the line, a couple of the bits maybe.
Yeah.
That's where it ended. So we knew the vibe, we knew the sort of feel, what we're kind of going for, the title, and to a degree, if that's what we stayed with.
Yeah.
And on the Monday, I went round to the studio,
Yeah.
and he'd done the rest of the lyrics and written the middle 8. And he said to me, and I hated writing lyrics at the time, so this was the absolute godsend.
Yeah.
I said to him, he said to me, "What do you think?" And I remember him being on that little piano up the corner,
I remember,
and it was just placed on there. I went over, I walked over, and I looked at him. And I probably didn't read him that much. I just kind of looked at him. And thought, "There's loads of lyrics there, Ace. I've got to write them." and I kind of said, "Yeah, they're great." She says, "Shall we record it then?" I went, "Yeah." And so we started to record it.
Lovely process.
It was great.
Great
And one of the funny things that happened halfway through that was we realised the mic we were recording the brass into wasn't on. It was recording on a mic over the drums in the other room. But it sounded great, so we stuck with that.
Well, hang on a minute. This is a really nice sound.
Being precise with mics and stuff. It was we got this sound because it was recording from a distance.
That's right. Yeah, sound like a distant brass band.
And that's how we started to write together. So that was the first song we wrote together.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the beeper again, the famous beeper.
Perfectly on time, even though it's not that time. So you set up Daft Dog Productions together.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were the first songs you wrote or produced together? Was it Morning Song?
Morning Song was the first one. If you're going to count it, it was pre the name, but
Yes.
that's what it was.
Okay.
And then because up to a point, obviously, I was writing songs with Kelvin and Danny, and it kind of went not sideways. The word's not looking. I didn't do a lot in the first. When I decided that's what I was going to do, let's go for it. This is the chance.
Yeah.
I was 40 at the time, so I thought, if we're going to have a chance, let's do it. And now, of course, you're teaming up with Scott. It was a really great thing because in my mind, it was not going to be let's write songs for Robbie Williams. There was none of that, and there never is really.
Yeah.
But you can imagine that's where we would aim stuff. These days, it's why am I messing about just writing stuff that could be done by anybody? Let's aim it where it might land because there's no point otherwise. But the point is, we didn't start that way, and so we just wrote that song. Yes, it sort of sounded like it would naturally apply itself to him, but it wasn't. I don't think that was it. It was played to him. He loved it. But then we moved on to. Well, we got the invite to both of us to go to LA at that point, so it obviously lit that fire.
Yeah.
So we wrote a couple more, which was "Won't Do That to You" to take out to LA with us when we went out. Because once we got the nod, you were away on holiday, and I rang you and said, "You when you come back, the one song we've done so far."
Bearing in mind, it was incredible, really, because it was probably within the space of about 3 or 4 months,
if that.
If that. We've done that, and then within
I take that tribute band. Sorry,
and we, and then next minute it's like, right, you're going out to Rob's house, and you're going to go right with him, and it was towards that. But to me, that was just like.
I bet.
It'd been 2 years since I'd been there.
It's hard to imagine.
It was absolutely insane. And it's such a privilege, and it was unbelievable.
Still, it always is. But,
always is, yeah.
So it was 2 years since I'd been there.
Yes.
So I was quite happy that we got the invite to go back.
Which, if you haven't heard about that, on our last episode, Rich tells the story, many stories about visiting Rob. So go back to that episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rich.
No, that's okay.
Plugging your last episode.
But we arrived there, and there was a party going on up the road, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So we immediately dumped the suitcases, ripped up there, and Rob said to us, "How are you doing, lads?"
It was all normal to us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal. It's not normal, and I don't mean that in any other weird, not in a weird way. We're from Stoke, and we're working class people, and it's not that environment, of course. Not that there's any problem with that. But we suddenly faced with Rob saying, "What's going on, lads? What's happening?" And then he's saying we're going on a trip to. It was a kind of strange period, but I thought what was fantastic was he brings the best out in me. I hope I do the same for him, and I think that Rob recognised that as well.
Yeah.
That was a really pivotal. It was weird. You can't write these scripts. I think it'd be interesting to see.
Well, I always think that great music often comes from combinations. Lennon and McCartney, Bernie Taupin and Elton John. There's usually two people's complementary things. That basically, if you work together properly and all push in the same direction and have a laugh along the way, great things happen. And it's certainly that was the case with us and still is. And
to be fair, just to briefly answer your question, because I know you asked the question, and I went off on a tangent as usual. We then obviously did concentrate on writing stuff for Rob. it's very difficult to push into other arenas. People are very protective of their artists, and it's hard. So I think for me, a long time ago, I realised, well, we've got a huge opportunity. Why think about anything else? Why worry about I should be writing with somebody else or be more successful? So in effect, it kind of made its own direction. For me personally, I'm not saying that's for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we did work with Lana Del Rey. I think I played that track earlier.
Yeah.
We worked with Beverly Knight. We worked with I'm trying to think who else. Joe McElderry, Alvin Stardust, various people, Engelbert. Lots of people. But none of them as well. Engelbert in his day, but none of them as big as Robbie Williams, and certainly. I've said it. I'll say it again. I love the bloke. I think it isn't about him doing our music. It's nothing to do with that. It's just I wouldn't want to be in a caustic, in a situation. It's just a joy to do that. So why would I subject myself to problem situations where I'm trying to hawk myself into a situation I don't really want to be in? So I'd rather just do that. It's easy. It's like an easy chair, isn't it? Really.
So Scott, what was it like the first time you turned up at Rob's house? How did that feel?
Oh man, I still think about that sometimes. That moment, it was just. I mean, obviously to Rob, he's been in that life since he was 15, 16 in terms of the pop story sort of life. For me to walk into a house that's down a private drive in Beverly Hills was get out of a limo. Was just. It was like a bizarre dream.
Yeah.
And then Robbie Williams come to this. So, obviously I learned very quickly, you don't call him Robbie.
No.
It's Rob.
Yeah.
He told you that on the spot.
Yeah. And I was like, I thought I was going to be sent home. And it was just to see this guy who had just followed his career on TV, and it was absolutely surreal. It really was, but in a brilliant way, because I knew that we were there to do the thing that I'd worked all my life to do. Do you know what I mean? Which is music and songwriting. And to me, when I wasn't planted into something that was alien to me, it was like, we're here, we're gonna write music. Nervous about it, of course, because it's level wise, you're pushing right up there. But it was just.
But to be fair, and I don't want to. I just want to add to that at the end that you're there because of what you've already done.
Absolutely.
If you've created something, he's gone. Okay, these guys have done. I didn't realise they. Right. So you're there on your own merits.
Yes. Of course.
How long you can prolong that for is another.
But it was incredible, and he was so welcoming and just made us feel really at home. So it was brilliant. Really good.
It takes a piss out of me a lot,
and me.
Oh, right,
well.
It's a term of endearment, isn't it?
Sorry,
it's a term of endearment.
Absolutely. I don't take it any other way.
Don't
take it any other way. It's just
no, it's brilliant.
I'm just mindful of what I might do next. They might just pick up on and go. We had the few ones. You were at the Brits. You had he was like, oh, you had got Scott.
It made me feel about that bit, but in a funny way, The thing with it is, he's a bit like a stand-up comedian. He's very quick-witted. There's no point trying to. Get.
He's not as good as me, mate.
Of course not.
He does notice the smallest details. Though. I remember when we've met him. I think it was in Vegas. I had some new white trainers on, and immediately he was like, "New white pumps, then, Matt." And I was like,
"Absolutely, well, I'm glad it's not just
anywhere
me."
Else.
Oh,
I like your shirt. Where do you get your shirt from? He just noticed these little details.
Totally.
Well, Christmas 2008, I'd been shopping. Went down to the local shopping centre. Was Fashion Square at the time. In LA, and I bought some jeans because I thought, well, in America the jeans are cheap. I'll buy. Got your Christmas jeans on, have you? Thanks a lot.
Rob does like his clothes, so I think
Well,
so
I remember
he notices them.
Well, we went to the Adidas shop, didn't we? We all had new trainers, and I went back, and Rob said, Scott's got trainers of the day.
Trainers of the day, trainers of the day.
He was like, these because they were all the latest trainers, weren't they? But it was like,
trainers of the day,
I feel good.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So, Scott, were you a fan of Rob and his music before you started working with him?
Do you know what? I didn't really sort of, I've never really particularly been a fan.
Yeah.
Apart from one or two, I was a bit of a fan of Stevie Wonder for quite a long time. I was a fan of Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
Apart from that,
Oh,
I didn't really have, because I was always deep into the music side of things from the other side of it. I didn't sort of get into sort of fandom particularly. But I do remember hearing Angels. I'd never particularly noticed too much of One Gone, and then I heard Angels. I thought, that's really good. Wow, this guy. You watched him go through Take That, and you knew about him, obviously being a local lad as well.
Yeah.
And then I thought, wow. And then Rock DJ came out. I thought, that's really good, you know. And then my ears started pricking up, and it was like, wow, this guy's. And then you just watch his career. Then you see the My Way and all that stuff in there, and it was just like flipping. And then you suddenly start taking notice. And I wouldn't describe myself as a fan, but I was definitely hugely interested in what he was doing and admired it. You know, I thought he just crossed a bridge, hadn't he, to where from Take That into his solo career, and it really, really worked.
Well, I think we're both fans of the man.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
But that's a privilege.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
I understand.
So obviously you met him knowing that you were going to be writing with him. Did you feel kind of pressure because of that? Was it just very natural?
Gosh,
Yeah, how did you feel?
I felt nervous. I did feel nervous about the prospect of.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do it, full of ideas, full of energy and enthusiasm as we were. But the actual thing of, right, let's sit down and write a track with this huge star.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the likes of Guy Chambers and people like that were in that same seat. You know, it was like, wow. That's quite daunting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big. Would you agree?
Yeah, a little. We were prepared, as we ever did whenever we went to LA.
Yeah, totally.
Just a quick one. Before the night or the week before we were going, we knew we were going, and the week before, my computer again went.
Yeah.
My computer went.
Yeah, just
We started to write. Won't do that to you.
Yeah.
It went, and we got. I can't remember all the details, which is unusual for me. But we hadn't got a computer. We couldn't do it, and we were trying to. It was the night before. So there's a guy named Mick. I won't say what you call him otherwise, but Mick, as in he's got another nickname.
Mick Jones.
Yeah.
Dancing Mick, we call him.
He got an Apple with Logic on it, so he came round to the house the night before we were going, and we were basically bunging down. Won't do that to you. On this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to take it with us. We were trying to take these tracks out with us, the ideas we got so far. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had that. But we were kind of prepared. So the other plus was pressure in one respect because of where you're going and what you expected to perhaps do. But we did take stuff with us to be able to soften that a little bit. We'll wait till like week 2 when we've got to write something brand new. By that time, you've settled in a little bit and it was so a bit easier.
Right, yeah. So Morning Sun, was that the first song that you played to him when you got to LA?
Well, you already had it. You had it.
that
You sent it to him.
You sent that to him.
wired
right?
over.
Oh, okay.
And that's why we were there because
Right.
he kind of went.
That was the calling card, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bring him out.
I mean, we haven't said it yet, but we did say it on the last episode, but what an incredible song, by the
it
way.
is.
I mean, just
Thank you.
it's one of those that just takes your breath away when you hear it. It's just something
Wow.
magical about that song. We really love it, and to hear him singing it on the documentary. On
Oh, yeah, that was
Netflix
great.
as
Lovely.
well.
Yeah.
The
We
original
songs.
thought
Yeah.
of you and we saw that. It was like, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
that was an honour, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
That really was. Yeah.
I think with Morning Sun as well, because again, I think it might be a little bit of the history picture of. I don't think it's anything in particular. It's just the way things pan out. But could have been so much more from a success point of view, a known point of view. If I say to people, yeah, we wrote a song called Morning Sun, the non-fans might not know it,
Yeah.
and I know the fans know it. But from an outside of people who know Robbie Williams and who know his music because it's on the radio and stuff rather than buying his music, would have been nice to have that as a reference. Morning Sun. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, but I mean, I don't care that much, but I feel that would have been nice. Because if you say, well, have you written anything that I know? I said, there's a track called Morning Sun. I don't know that. It's a bit odd, but having, when you've not heard it for a while, having written it and then heard it through its process with Trevor Horn produced it and stuff like that. But now you listen to the actual recording, the finished recording, you know, I think it's an absolute joy to be a part of it. I don't care when it came out of my head originally, to be part of it and go, wow, that was us. We did that, really. You know, so I'm if I never did anything else, that would be enough for me.
And how did it feel when it was released as a single? Whoa. And it was on the official sport. It was the official sport relief single in 2010.
Well, there's a little story behind that because we were thrust into this world that was like wasn't our Stoke-On-Trent everyday world, which involved getting on a 12-seater plane, driving onto LAX airport.
Not LAX, it's Van Nuys.
Was it?
Yeah, Van Nuys, yeah.
Oh, right, wow. Again, memory man. I rely on him. So, but instead, we got our passports ready and we drove straight onto there.
You didn't need your passport, you fly internally in America. Well, we didn't know that, did we?
No, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, exactly. So again, not our world.
Onto the tarmac, onto a private jet, yeah.
So sitting there with a glass of champagne. Am I okay saying this?
Yeah.
Sitting there with a glass of champagne, and Rob just basically suggests, how about we put? It wasn't that one actually. Run about won't do that as a first single, and
I think we're going to do that as my first single. Bear in mind, we'd been there.
Our minds were
4 days.
Oh, right.
We were going right. Okay.
My head had exploded.
Yeah.
It was just.
But
like,
you've got to sit there with a glass of champagne on this plane.
And he turned around to me and says, "You've changed, you have."
Just trying to be cool, leaning to the side slightly, kind of going, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah." You're thinking inside again,
maybe that is a good idea.
Yeah. Wow, it was just. It's all hard to explain. Of course, you're disappointed when it doesn't happen. That's sometimes you don't want to hear it because then there's possibly disappointing. But
but like you said, Morning Sun did come out as a single, and
how did you feel about that then when you were? I've asked asking your question again. Just
But there was an amazing moment when I was walking down the aisles at B&Q and Morning Sun cover version came on.
Cover version?
A cover version?
Oh, you mean like a
they do that because they don't have to pay PPL.
You went to B&Q. You were in the range with me.
No, but I happened to
be
in
B&Q,
that included. Of course. But no, I was on my own in B&Q buying some timber. And literally it came on, I was just like, and I just stopped. It's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So you've made it when your song's been covered and it's
covered, playing and being covered. Yeah, no, we were in the range. Yeah, that's another one.
Wow.
Well, that was amazing. It sounds like a small thing, but really, when you've all your life, you've heard those things and those sometimes questionable cover versions of, we both. Oh no, you didn't work at Shoe City, did you?
No.
When I was about 16, I worked at a place called Shoe City, which was
I worked next door at Copyright.
You were next door at Copyright, yeah. And he probably had similar songs, and we used to call these songs Shoe City classics because it was somebody doing a terrible cover of like Prince or something like that. And you're like, oh, do I have to listen to this again?
It would just be on a continual loop.
Yeah.
I remember that from working in a supermarket in my early years. Yeah.
But I was so proud to actually have one of my, our intellectual property being exploited in such a way. Was kind of good.
So I worked at Copyright, as I've just said, and you worked virtually next door. Was it maybe one shop between? Yeah. So at the back of the shop is where I got that. See what that table's made out of there? That's an old telly stand that someone brought back to Apollo. And I thought, I like that. And I made a table out of it. And the thing you're sitting on is a seat from Shoe City. from the same place. So that's still the thing you're sitting on is from Shoe City.
I probably sat on that in Shoe City, listening to Shoe City classics. How brilliant.
Having your feet measured.
Yeah, exactly. Well, measuring someone else's feet. Yeah.
It is comfy.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
So random. I love it. Yeah.
A song we discussed last time when we were together was Decepticon, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
You all wrote it together while you were searching for UFOs at Trout Lake. Scott, what are your memories of that time looking for UFOs and writing music?
Oh,
the guys have already told us a few stories, but I'd love to hear your perspective.
So do you remember I said there was surreal when we first got out of the limo? This was next level surreal.
Can you just not skip the bit out about getting off the plane and the bloke standing with black suits on and the umbrellas on the rainy runway with the black coat, like the CIA was. That was a weird thing. Kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? And they drove us off on like a convoy off to the airport. It's hard to explain that, but you carry on because obviously
that was when we landed in
Portland,
Oregon. Yeah, Oregon.
Sounds like a scene from Men in Black.
It was. It was. That's
was like a
that's
scene from
exactly what it looked like. And
whiskey,
I'm like,
sir. Like, wasn't it? It was like, what? And so we go to this place which was insanely beautiful, wasn't it? Like Close Encounters mountain.
wildly beautiful.
White rivers and all that sort of, whitewater rivers. And it was just incredible. Completely different from Beverly Hills, about as different as you could get, in every other aspect. But it was lovely because we got the chance to just, you had so much time in a day, so we wrote there and we recorded there, didn't we? And
had the DGMs every day.
Yeah, we had daily general meetings to keep each other centralised, because it was so surreal.
Yeah.
So we just
not only the first part, the Robbie Williams connection, if you like, but then being in the middle of nowhere, looking for UFOs. There was no internet.
Yeah,
your brain went slightly.
Is this happening?
So we used to go off into the middle of a field and just chat, so we couldn't be overheard. We could say what we thought.
Just being all right. Hey, up, duck,
to reassure each other. Well, he was doing more assuring for me because there's other pressures. But the point,
there was.
it was without him there. I think I'd have gone absolutely crazy. It was nothing to do with Rob.
No.
Rob was to do with this.
Just so surreal.
It must have been for you as well because
totally was. Totally, it was. In an incredible way, but it was. It was just like wow. Yeah, really, really surreal in every aspect. But that was where we did write Decepticon. And that was a lovely process, wasn't it? With in that sort of like almost like an aircraft hangar sort of place, wasn't it?
Like talk about the Scouts you mentioned earlier, but it was like a village hall with bunting hanging up and a stage at one end. A bit of a stage and a ping pong table and a table tennis if you're posh table, and was a pool table as well. Yeah,
it
was like a youth club.
Yes, there was.
In the middle of nowhere, and at night you could hear, I assume, were wolves howling. Outside toilets, homemade buildings. Painted bright pink in the inside. And they were all, there's like four of us in one room at one. Was you, Kelvin and Danny?
Me, you, Kelvin, Dan.
So 2 bunk beds.
Yeah.
We were on the bunk beds.
Yeah.
And Kelvin and Danny were in the bed.
Yeah, waking up and just seeing Danny and his kegs. Thinking, is this happening?
These are what we're saying about elements that, I know they're my brothers, and you kind of, but you get to a certain age, you don't really want to see your brother in his pants, do you?
If you'd have told me when I was 14, see that guy on the radio there, you're going to be lying in a bunk bed, staring at him and his kegs in Shout Lake. And I said, go away.
So there's that
nonsense.
That story where we walked down to the town to try and get a drink, relieve the pressure again of being in a strange place, not any other kind of pressure. So we started to walk, and this Honda comes past. Beep, 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 beep.
Old. When he says Honda, he means like a 1970s old Honda.
Yeah. Beep, beep. And there's Robbie Williams out the window going, "Oh, lads, how are you?"
Right. Wake up.
It was hell. But that's everybody's really relaxing. But for us, it was. We were thinking, hang on, we better be writing songs here because we're only out here for 2 weeks.
And working keeps our heads together as well, doing something, But I don't know whether you mentioned this in the last one, but this is another thing that sticks in my mind, which was in this place, for some reason, at one part, perhaps it was for when loads of people come to stay, there was piles of mattresses. And of course, we needed to record vocals. So we'll make a vocal booth out of mattresses, which is what we did. And it was great. It was like, we were quite inventive. So we put, 2 together and then one over the top, like and all the way around the side of these slightly shabby mattresses. And then a little mattress door on it. And then there's Rob sitting in amongst all these mattresses doing a vocal take. We were like, this is bonkers.
Yeah.
But good sound in there.
Yeah, it was great, yeah.
Yeah.
We also wrote Soda Pop there, by the way, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Of course we did.
It was good for creativity then.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I think it was when we could apply ourselves. We were that pent up about kind of standing around doing nothing sometimes. When we felt we wanted to utilise the time.
Yeah.
We were kind of go right, go. But it was good.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow. Did you see a UFO?
No.
Oh.
I mean, we saw a few odd lights in the sky, to be fair.
Yeah.
Saw one, we was like, why is that going so fast? And
But do you remember that one when, if you like facing that mountain?
Yes. There's a few lights going off on
There
the
was
mountain.
something above here that like lit up and then turned and went. And I stood there and I lit, no drink at this point, so it's not going to blame anything other than
Just acid.
sleep.
I'm sorry, no, I'm joking.
Sleep deprivation maybe, but no.
Yeah.
But I kind of went, does everybody else see that? And everybody went, what? And I thought, I've just seen something light up and then fly off, you know. So I don't know what that was.
So the classification of that could be unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
Which is
So
what it was.
actually, I'll change my answer. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So you co-wrote "Won't Do That," but it originally had quite a different vibe on the version until Trevor Horn changed it.
Yes, it did. It had a kind of a bit more of, I would say, Wings kind of McCartney vibe to it, massively so.
Yeah.
When we're massive fans of that vibe,
are,
aren't we?
Yeah.
And then, you know, Trevor Horn just took it in his direction and made it a little bit more, I would say, slightly more Northern Soul kind of vibe to it.
But I think he straightened it up, and I think when we wrote it, I think you almost want the push and pull with the kind of you want that kind of I don't know it's push and pull. I think
pushing of the stabs and stuff and all that.
And
kind
it,
of
that,
thing.
you know, whereas it was very straight, like you know, what I mean, it was kind of just doing that, and I felt. But we use an expression called demo head, which is, of course, if you write it and you do it, and you're so used to hearing. It's
very hard to take in something else, you know, even though.
But I think I'm still of the same opinion today. So I do believe something that was harking to the original feel would have been better for me now. I could have, you know, I've often changed my mind and gone, well, actually, no, you know, we just listened to You Got Old, and I like what we did. It's the song's the same, really, nothing else. But the production and the arrangement of the new version was mind blowing. So
Yeah,
exactly.
So you attended the BRITS in 2010 with Rob when he got his Outstanding Contribution to Music Award and sung a medley of his hits, including some from Reality Killed the Video Star. How exciting was that?
Oh, man. Well, the weirdest thing was, right, we would class each other as Mr. and Mr. Nobody, you know, as in relation to the people that were there, of course, you know, and we're walking through and like we're heading for table 1. Like Liam Gallagher's on table 7, you know, going, you know, and can you imagine how weird we were feeling at this point?
We walked down the black. We were late. But we walked down the red carpet with Girls Aloud. They were late as well. We all walked in. And I don't know where
Lady
they went, we went to
Gaga,
table 1.
Phil Collins, you know, and we're like, table 1.
Yeah, sorry, lads, where are you going? Oh, right, okay. Yeah. You know, but
it was bonkers, wasn't it?
It was bonkers, and then we, of course,
absolutely bonkers.
I think what was quite funny, you nervously drink. And I'm going to accuse you of that, boy, because I'm a better drinker.
Guilty as charged.
And that's not a criticism.
I did.
You're sitting there, you're thinking.
The problem is there's a cocktail of drinks there as well. There's champagne. There's everything you can think of. So you just go, quick, have another drink,
Oh, you're right, yeah. 10 minutes, you're just doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, I think you had to stop me from breakdancing on glass afterwards, didn't you?
At the after party,
the after party. Stop, there's glass on the floor.
Because Andy Serkis
Yeah.
was at Rob's after party.
Oh, yeah.
And he's that drunk. He's going, it's Gollum. Gollum's here.
We're dancing with Gollum, which is great. And we were dancing with Gollum.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You know, which was amazing.
And then you were hugging Trevor Horgan. Oh,
yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
So it was,
and then someone was getting drugged.
I'm a professional drinker, so I was a little bit. It's a nervous situation to be in. You can understand if you're not.
It was an amazing time.
It was amazing. Then hearing,
amazing.
to answer that question a little bit, hearing Morning Sun being played in that situation.
Oh man.
Well, you know, you could be at that moment you could be blamed not for getting carried away with yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, it's just an amazing thing. It's just,
to be honest, all that stuff now just feels like a dream. Feels like we dreamt it.
Yeah.
It's dead strange, isn't it? It is dead strange.
I'm just having a deja vu when you did that, but carry on.
Yeah, dead strange. But I agree with Rich. So grateful for everything that's gone on and everyone that facilitated it. Of course, including and most of all Rob himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's just been so gracious, hasn't he? And so sort of enabling and kind within it all. So. Brilliant.
But genuinely, he's not doing us favours.
No.
I think he likes us.
No.
He might watch this and say that's wrong.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I think he likes us. Therefore, and I know in my heart he does. But at the same time, I know we've kind of said this in a way, but we're there on our own merits.
Yes.
And sometimes we do get bandy with the guys.
Well, some people say, of course, we come from Stoke. Or Rob comes from Stoke. I didn't know Rob before this happened.
No.
But people go, oh, yeah,
Is that what
mates,
it is?
are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Well,
we are now.
We are now, yeah. So, but absolutely, Rich. And that's important point, really, which is that it was literally, started with Morning Sun, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it was music that brought us together.
Yeah.
It was music when he first came to the gig. It was music
Yeah.
that got us out to LA. It's music
Yeah.
while we're sitting at the Brits.
Yeah.
So that was important
Cool.
for the ego, anyway. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, Soda Pop, Rob has said that he's not actually really sure what it's about. Can you tell us what it's about?
I would
to
say,
you.
I would say, I don't know what's in his head, but I would say it's about bloody nothing. it's about. I mean, I remember you coming up with the line. I got massive hands. It's like, I mean, not that I've got a problem with that. If I don't mean it's, but I like stuff like that more so now. But I've got massive hands. I've got 200 feet.
Tiny feet.
Yeah. And I think it's a kind of a nonsense song, but that's okay.
Yes.
I don't really need it to be about anything, and I don't. Hopefully, he doesn't.
Well, I think a lot of music gets digested in the way that people digest it, and a lot of the time, the meaning of a song, people don't even think about. They just go, "I love that song," and they sing along with it because it's music, isn't it? And I think that would be a classic example of that. It's a lot of people really enjoy that song, but they don't need to necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to mean something,
Right.
and it probably does mean something to someone. They go, "I know what you're talking about." Yeah. Massive hands, tiny feet. Of course I do. And that's fine. That's great because you get a message. It was like the morning. Am I allowed to say? The Morning Sun, the village drunk. Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
And the village drunk was actually about. There's a place around here called Woolstanton, and in Woolstanton, very sadly, there was a guy that was an alcoholic and was homeless and blah blah blah, and so that was why the village drunk was included into that song. The village drunk sadly passed away. They found him outside the doctor's surgery, and it was a sad story. I never knew his name. I was intending to go and speak to him at some point, never got the chance because he died. Then the song came out. And then there was loads of people going, "How dare he talk about Michael Jackson in that way?" And it's like it wasn't about Michael Jackson.
No.
Never was. No.
Never was. But people.
But then you discovered that the village drunk hadn't actually
He
died.
hadn't died. I bumped into him. It's like, "Hang on, mate. Hang on a minute. Is that you?" Yeah. So exactly, the story goes on, and I did say hello to him.
Oh, good. Did you find out his name?
No, I might have done, but I haven't got a memory like his. So it's quite a long time ago.
Gary won it.
No, don't say Gary. That's another story.
That's an in joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
And then there was something else on there. Was that you originally put in the line? I know we're going back to Morning Sun again, but you put the line morning. What was it? Mrs. Millwood?
Mrs. Millwood.
Yeah.
Yes, it was my next door neighbour at the time. Yes,
And
exactly.
he changed it to Mr. McCarron Wood, didn't he?
He did
Yeah.
first
Mr.
of all.
McCarron
Mr.
Wood.
Yes.
Not Mr. McCarron Wood. But
Mr. McCarron
Mr. McCarron would do something, yeah.
take the same old.
But he changed that to yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But then it got changed again by Don Black, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
so,
So after a while, you lose track of who's done
Yeah.
what. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but, But yeah, it's funny that you write these things, as I say,
Yeah.
that you write them and then they get changed. And that's if you're going to be precious about it, which we'll never am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a yes man, as I said as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, You know, it's about that they're the artists. They want to sing what they want to sing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
Sorry.
Bob Dylan, isn't it? Like there's so much mystery shrouded in his lyrics. Everyone goes, what was he talking about then? He's never told anyone, and possibly doesn't even remember or know. I mean, I'm just surmising there, but sorry, Bob, but you know what I mean? And because he's like, I'm not sure what I was, but Bob, call him B. But no, the thing is that so I think music's music, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I quite like that element of not quite.
Are we drawn to the tunes?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then if we're interested, we take them start to think about the lyrics maybe.
That's true,
But we sing
Just
sing
the
along.
staple, the vicar, and all that kind of stuff.
I think
Phoenix Nights thing.
As humans, we always want to apply meaning to everything, don't we? And I think you're right. You don't always have to.
No, you don't.
We're kind of programmed to say, what's the meaning of that? Why is there a story? Is there a story there? But it's nice sometimes just to not have that. And then your own interpretation is what really matters.
Yeah.
Right?
I think more important to think it's because I write something, you write something, and someone goes, "Oh, that changed my life." That lyric did. Not saying anyone's ever said that to me, but you hear any stories of that nature. And I think if it's good for them and they can do that, that's great.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
And so moving on to Michael Bublé, he's sung a song that
Nice.
you've written.
Soda pop.
Did you meet him?
We didn't. No.
Oh, how was it to have him singing your song?
Well, when we
Another
sat
legend.
down to see, I mean, the first part of that story was we got a load of swing stuff we'd written for that swing album, and we played it a little bit in the background earlier, but a lot of didn't get used. Most of it didn't get used. And then we were literally having a meeting about what we're going to do with all these swing songs. Well, we didn't know what we were going to do, but we were talking, and I got an email from Rob saying, I'm in the studio with, I've got Frank Sinatra's mic. I'm in Capitol Studios in LA. I've got Frank Sinatra's mic. Michael Bublé. I'm like, Michael Bublé. I do know nothing about it at this point. Michael Bublé's got Dean Martin's mic. Soda Pop, #1 smash. And I'm like, we sat there and I went, listen, it was like mind blowing,
it was.
to have him sing the song because, if you're going to write a swing song right now and said, I know Rob did it as well, but Michael Bublé is going to sing it, then you've made it. I know I'm saying you made it, but from an achievement point of view, Michael Bublé sang one of your songs. I don't have to think about it that way, actually, but it's true. We're finished. We don't need to do it.
No, that's it. Yeah. Do you know my favourite moment of that was when we got the thing back from Capitol, the first recording of it back, and we heard him do that scat over it. It's just like, oh my word. So and he'd apparently just done it in one take.
Oh.
And he's like, that is
he's got one of those voices that sounds like it's tuned.
But
but that's how he sounds. And the other thing is, just going back to the lyrics for a second, because obviously we had certain lyrics on the original. I don't know if I played you the original Soda Pop, but we've got it somewhere. And because the lyrics came back then, they're both singing, "We're on G6 jets." And I'm like, "What's a G6 jet? What does that mean?" I just have no idea. So I've no idea where they took the lyrics at that point. So again, it's probably a nonsense. It's just a It's a flight of fancy, I suppose. Bit of fun.
So other swing songs you've written with Rob include "On the Fence" and "Booty Call" for Under the Radar. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, On the Fence we wrote as a contributory thing to that album. So it kind of got a lot of it got left for whether it was politics, whatever the reason these swing songs weren't used. But so that kind of hung around. The other one, Booty Call, we went out to LA in 2015. And a little funny story that me and him were in bed together.
Like Morecambe and Wise.
It was literally like Morecambe and Wise.
Ice creams at that
You know these old things. Do you know those old comedy things, like the Christmas special, the old, very old things? And someone would knock on the door, ring, like as it was someone's house. Yeah. So there's a knock on the door. Robbie Williams pops his head through the door. Rob pops his head through the door and says, "All right, lads, do you want to come write a swing song with us?" And we was lying in bed together, just woke up going, "Yeah, okay, right, okay." So anyway, he went into the studio and
bonkers.
and we just started to jam something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
started singing a few things, started writing lyrics, and that's what Booty Call
was.
Very
organic vibe.
We loved it at the time. We did some late nights trying to throw brass on it and make it sound quite good. And then what happened was he wanted to put it on one of the Under the Radar things. So I had to eke it up to make it sound as good as I could.
Yeah.
So it was kind of not re-recorded, but certainly pumped with whatever adrenaline and steroids we could find lying around this very small studio, because that's where it was done, really, mainly.
Yeah.
So that was written just as a session in LA. So
Right.
Check you out.
yeah.
Sessions in LA.
I've got all big headed, haven't I? So I've changed in the last 5 minutes.
Changed you, have, Rich.
A track that isn't talked about much, that isn't even available on streaming services anymore, is You Got Old. You mentioned it earlier on, sung with Johnny Wilkes. You wrote that together with Kelvin and Rob. Can you explain the origins of that song? Why isn't it available anymore? It's got hilarious lyrics. We love it.
I'm really proud of the lyrics on that. I even said that to you the other day. There's a lot of me dad's humour in there. Things like, where she used to say to me, "Mum, are you wearing them teeth in for the dog?" He used to say that. She'd have a drink, and the joke was he said her teeth would go big. So so you say, "You're wearing them teeth in for the dog," and these things stick with you. So that ended up being a lyric. And the thing about wash your hair, you find it all in the sink. And I loved writing that. I'll tell you the beginnings of that, and this is going to be slightly not graphic, but I want you to not really have an imagination at this point. But the tune came to me sitting on the loo. Right? As a lot of tunes do, to be fair. And I just went to the studio that morning, and I said to Scott, I want to do something where it's kind of, you do this, you do that, and you got old. And that's basically, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. And that's where it started.
Right.
Of course, we never, with that particular track, we were never in the same room as Rob when he did his changes to the track. So from the writing point of view, that's obviously his business, if whatever he wants to sing, as we've said before. But he kept a lot of ours, which I was really chuffed about, because I was really proud of the lyrics. I thought it's proper comedy. It makes me laugh, and I'll do it now. So that's I loved writing that song. I loved coming up with the idea. I loved just creating it, and I like the Johnny Wilkes and Rob version. I think I got to the point, really, he left some of the things out or changed some of the things. I thought, well, actually, that was quite funny. Could have kept that in, but it's. I love that song. I still love it. I love it. Yeah.
Well, we enjoyed your version of it.
Thank you very much.
You played it just before the show, so thank you for that.
And then, It's Christmas is another swing track you wrote with Kelvin and Rob. Was it Rob's idea to be Grinch-like?
I'll just answer this quickly. You can add what you're thinking after. Sorry.
Go on.
So again, excuse me. The idea was exactly what you hear. So obviously a train of thought, which was, it's Christmas. It's like an anti-Christmas song in a way. But like you say, Grinch-like. I think on the original demo we maintained that Grinch-like thing right to the end. My final line in that song when I did the vocal was, we did the Salvation Army bit at the end, and it was like, "Hush falls on the it's Christmas." It still kept that sort of vibe at the end of the song, but when we recorded it in LA with Rob, he kind of softened it and said it was a bit like the bad things are gone. I don't want you to reach this conclusion yourself, but the bad things are gone, and it was like, but it's Christmas, so we accept it. It was nice. His version was nicer at the end. He changed it to that. His vocal style was changed to that. Whereas I think we kept the Grinch thing going. What do you remember?
Yeah, that's that. Fully agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just tell me to shut up anytime.
No,
you know what I'm like if I start rattling. But I think that again, I loved writing that. Written in, I would say 2011. We wrote that. And then, of course, it never saw the light of day until, he mentioned about doing a Christmas album in, it came out, it came out in 2019, but it was 2017 when he said, so we do something. So 2018, I embarked on trying to write some more stuff.
Right.
Sorry.
You're all right.
Yeah.
You're not really Grinches, are you? You're not Grinches at Christmas, or
no,
not at all.
Not really.
No.
I didn't get the feeling.
No.
The nice thing is about the escapism of writing a song like that. That you can be like an actor and be the Grinch.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. I mean, you could have the odd argument and say, bloody hell, I said, I had a laugh with my auntie once, and she used to come around on a Sunday or Christmas, whatever. And she was named Kay, and my dad used to say, I said to her when I saw her, I said, I thought your name was Bloody Kay. Every time you used to come around the corner of the car, he'd say, he's Bloody Kay. But certain people, you might not want them there at Christmas. You try and have a relaxing time and stuff. That's.
Yeah.
But I don't say think we're Grinch. You a Grinch? I don't
No,
know.
I'm
not
not
at
a
your
Grinch.
house at Christmas.
No, not a Grinch. No. I mean, it gets on my nerves a little bit when Christmas is being advertised in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
True.
apart from
Yeah.
that, no, I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rich, can you tell us a little bit about the writing and recording of Coco's Christmas Lullaby and It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, absolutely. I pieced together, because I wasn't kind of working with you at that point.
Yeah.
I pieced together. I don't know if you're aware of Charlie Brown's Christmas. Do you know that soundtrack, Charlie Brown's Christmas?
No, not really.
No.
Check it out.
Oh.
It's I can't remember my brother's here tells exactly what the name.
Right.
It's a jazz trio that did the soundtrack to the Christmas film,
Yes.
Charlie Brown's Christmas. Now, that music is, it's like the goosebumps for me. And they sing like some of the classic things, but playing in a jazz style. And I kind of, what I did, and I've done it a few times, is I pieced together what instruments I could hear on the actual track. So I kind of played with, we've got the piano sound and some of the double bass, and it's almost like a jazz thing going on. And I just said, I've got this, and I want to do something like that to Kelv. I started playing it, and I started to sing. And anyway, he sat there and went, wow. And I pieced the sounds together first, and then tried to play something with the sounds. So when I went down to Rob's house in Wiltshire, originally with a bunch of ideas, including the ones Rudolph and stuff like that. I played into it, and he just sat there stunned. I've never seen him like that before. He just sat there and was like, wow. And I was like, it's a good thing, yeah, wow, yeah, you know what I mean? yeah, it's a good thing. So all these things I was playing to him was getting a great reaction. And I think he felt so strongly about the kind of way that the lyrics were, the ones we'd written anyway, that he felt he wanted to sway it more towards. So he had what he wanted to write on it, and at the same time, he said to us literally, "Do you mind if I call it Coco's Christmas Lullaby?" And we went, "Well, why not?
Yeah.
It's nice to have it dedicated."
Yeah, it's lovely.
I love that. The version that they did was so true to the original. In fact, they used some of my production. We've had that conversation, but they kept it. I like that. I feel that's like a nod to any ability I might have. That they use the same vibe or the same vibes in some cases. But I absolutely love that. But that's why it started with trying to make something that sounded a bit like Charlie Brown's Christmas soundtrack.
Right.
If you check that out, you'll know exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
And then we've discussed Home Again before, but let's reiterate how great that song is
Okay.
Yes.
and how it should have been on the main album,
Yes,
Under
it
the
should.
Radar. We know there's an extra chorus on that song, so why wasn't that included in the final version, do you think?
I'll keep rattling to you.
No, go on, please.
So are you referring to on the demo? There's an extra.
Yes.
Yeah. So originally we did it and played it to you, didn't we?
Yeah.
We played it to you, and it had got like a train at the beginning, and it was a bit more traditional sounding with acoustic guitar and stuff like that. And I don't know. I loved it. We put cellos on it, and when I started to do the electronic type version of it, I don't know. I felt I didn't want to just keep singing songs. I wanted to get a bit of this. I wanted it to almost like transform itself into this like interesting sounding, electronic sounding track, and I enjoyed that as much as the song.
Right.
So it was good to do that. So that's the reason I left it off. I just thought
Right.
it could have been just too much songy song.
Yeah.
And I love the way it kind of suddenly goes, and it doesn't last long, does it? Once it goes into that,
Yeah.
bit, it does that kind of big rising, like string line, and then it kind of just kind of goes away. So I think it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
truth.
Yes, it
Just
does.
yeah,
So the more you'll never have because
yeah.
Super Tony is one of our favourites. It's pretty different to all the other songs he's recorded. Kelvin explained how it developed from watching a Phoenix Nights Peter Kay sketch
Yes.
from the line "Too Far, Tony." So go
Yes.
back, listeners, go back to that episode if you want to hear that story. Scott, did you enjoy writing that one?
It was great fun. That was one of the ones where we were all gathered around the piano, wasn't it?
Right.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Think in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You've got
Serious?
pianos in bathrooms?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Oh, Rob
well,
has.
he had,
Oh, okay.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'll say Guy bought him this
I
piano.
was going to say it was Guy's Christmas present. I think was it after Angels had gone in at number 1 or something.
Ah,
but,
see.
but it was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So it was like sitting writing on Guy's piano.
Yeah.
You know, just
Just so you don't have to have breaks in the writing. So I'll just nip in track 1.
yeah,
And you
exactly.
carry on.
In the bathroom in Rob's.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was lovely. We just it was a really great one of those sessions that was just a really good fun and really kind of everything flowed really quickly. We
What
just kind
session
of
was that? Was that the first time you went to LA? I think it was.
might have been. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was one in that.
Quite
So that,
possibly.
in
I
that
think no,
sort
it
of,
was. It
yeah.
was. You're right.
Ah,
So once
Yeah,
you kind
yeah.
of got the, I don't know, let's call them the main tracks out of the way. You start to have a little bit of fun and doing
Yeah.
some daft
Yeah.
things. That's kind of how that came about.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Rob said, "I want to do something."
Yeah,
I think that was his
a bit,
expression.
A bit sort of blurry.
Yeah,
kind of vibe. Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a bit like something out of a musical, I think.
mhm.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Like from Bugsy Malone or something.
something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that just came out organically then, just
Absolutely.
playing on the
Yeah,
piano. And,
Yes.
Oh.
And then Danny cleared up with it, and all these glass smashes went on it, and things, didn't it? It was like
Tills
freaking
going off.
great.
Oh yeah,
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 tills
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Danny's magic went all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
yeah. It sounds
Yeah.
great.
Was
Yeah.
fun.
It
Really fun,
was
good fun.
great fun. Yeah.
And we haven't discussed Underkill yet from Under the Radar 3. It's quite sort of dancey. It's kind of dancey.
I didn't know I didn't realise that had come out.
I didn't know yet. That is exactly what I'm thinking. Well thought of.
Yeah.
Under the
Uh,
Radar
Was that on
3?
Under the Radar 3?
Under the
Yeah.
Radar 3, yeah.
Wow. I'll have to have
Um,
a listen to that.
So I redid it for that.
Yeah, amazing.
Underkill. Now, I thought that was going to be like a main track.
Mhm.
When we first came up with it, we've done it. We did another track called, and we'll play it to you at some point, called "Cut Up the Dog." Okay, so the experiment was we create. I had this idea. I listened to some Jay Dilla stuff. Jay Dilla, the rapper. Yeah, was it a rapper, stroke singer? I don't know exactly what, but it was a Jay Dilla track where it was like, it sounded like to me like it was like going like across an album with a needle, and everything being in about the same tempo and in the same key, so you can immediately go complete change in sound and feel, but it all kind of fitted together. So what we did, we sat in the studio and we made sort of 2-bar, 1-bar tracks. So like get an electric piano and go do 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 do, and then we'd put that in, and then we'd do something in the same key on with a rock guitar going
okay.
in the same tempo. So we put them all together, and I randomly
Oh.
cut up all the bits, so it kind of goes do beep boom boom do do. But it's a continuous thing.
Yeah.
So a really weird sound, and we started to write this track, Underkill, over it. In the meantime, we kept the basis of that to do this Daft Dog. We were going to do an EP, it never came out, with jazz stuff on it and stuff like that. But that's how it started, this weird sound, and then we straightened it up by Scott putting on a bass that tied everything together. So
Right.
on its own, it was weird. It was like as if the needles dropping up randomly on it. And that's how that started.
Sort of glued it together a bit. Yeah.
The lyrics are written. That was the first time I really got into lyrics. I got so into lyrics at that point. That was the changing point for me. I started to write these lyrics, and I loved writing it, and I've loved writing lyrics ever since. And then he was doing the Take That. It was 2011. He was doing Take That gigs.
Progress.
Was it Progress? Yeah. Well, you know I wouldn't, but I remember it was 2011, and he was up in Manchester, and he came down to the studio in Burslem,
Right.
our studio in Burslem, to do the recording, and that's where he the night before he was singing to 60,000 people, and he came to our little studio in Burslem and put the vocals down on
Is that when he
Underkill.
brought his dogs with him?
His dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we stood on the corner looking up. People would drive asking, "Is that Robbie Williams?"
yeah.
Looking at the pub, his dad's old pub, the Red
the
Lion
Red Lion,
in Burslem.
yeah.
And just pointing it all out to Ida. And like bits and bobs in Burslem and stuff like that. Yeah. Love that. I love that. But yeah, it was great. It was a great little thing. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
That's quite a while ago then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't realise it was that old.
Yeah.
When was that track? When did it come out?
Well, Under the Radar 3 must have been 2018, I think.
Is
maybe.
it? Right.
Well, these things don't go away, do they? It's nice that they drop their ugly heads up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, indeed.
We know that you've got lots of unreleased songs that you've written with Rob. Can you tell us about any of those?
So, yeah, he has played some of them on Instagram.
Played one or two of them. He's played Wonderful, Rock and Roll, Outrageous on Instagram Live. So maybe you could do any of those ring a bell for you? Do you remember those?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I might go
Near
to
enough for rock and roll.
Yeah, well, that's a great one because whether we bored you, I bored you with that story before, but your dad used to, because your dad was a musician, as you've already said earlier. He used to say, "It's near enough for rock." Did he say near enough for rock and roll? My dad used to say it's near enough for jazz.
Yeah.
So perhaps my dad was slightly more sophisticated.
That's what it is.
No, it's exactly what it is. Yeah, I always feel that air of superiority myself when we're together, but I don't like to say it. But importantly, I think what Scott was saying, if you're from a lyric point of view, it kind of made more sense to be near enough for rock and roll.
Yeah.
To tell you exactly how it came about, we were in a shop in. A friend of ours worked in a shop, and they got these Fender guitars, Fender acoustic cutaways, and they were made in China. And you picked it up, and you started playing it, and he's like, "Actually, this is great. This is great. 125 quid. It's ridiculous, you know." And I kept thinking, these days, because we're from Stoke, it was all the mugs and cars and best guitars all made in China, but they play near enough for rock and roll. It was just, it almost wrote itself. Because it's like, they're not cheap and nasty anymore. They're actually quite good for the money. They're making better mugs than the Stoke-On-Trent people.
Is that the advertising campaign? They're actually quite good.
It's the old film with, what's his name, in Dudley Moore. Where
It is.
Back on the head, he
boxy
says,
but good.
Volvo's, boxy but good. Like that. But yeah, it was just, it literally wrote that itself. But the groove on that particular one, obviously you've heard it, maybe. It will come out that way one day. I keep getting the vibe that it's going to come out at some point. So love that one. And what was the other one? Sorry,
Outrageous. Really
Outrageous,
love Outrageous. Yeah.
It was written for the idea was written when we went out to LA in 2015. So it was like the preempting of that writing session. So take some stuff with us, and that was one that again I'd put a load of sounds together. And I said to Kel, "What do you think of this?" And I played him some track, and he said, "Well, I'm not sure. It's a little bit kind of what I was playing. It was a little bit." He didn't feel any kind of. So I said, "Okay, we'll scrap that." But we kept all the sounds and started to come up with that. And at the time, and with rock and roll, kind of very influenced by Prince. I love that. It's almost like, and we've said this before, it's almost like Prince is a musical genre. You've got jazz, you've got rock. Prince is like his own sound. And I feel you are able to do that because it's like we're playing some Prince music.
Yeah,
we're not playing some jazz music. So the same kind of drum machines, the same the same drum machine, in fact.
Lindrum.
Yeah.
How geeky! Everyone's so interested in the Lindrum.
So we arrived at his house, and it was Thanksgiving Day. And we'd been into the studio to listen to the kind of things we got. And he just absolutely was all over Outrageous. So much so that we went downstairs, he put it on in this middle of a party in front of everybody. He went, "Listen to this, everybody." I put it on, and we all go, they're all going, "Wow, is this you?" And he said, "Well, it will be," all kind of thing. You know what I mean? We're just going, it was weird. But it was written for that. And again, I think it's just, I personally think it's quite outstanding. I love it. Rob, if you're listening, don't put it on under the radar. Put it on a proper album.
Put it on over the radar.
Over the radar, yeah. While in the radar.
Yeah. On everyone's radar.
And then what about Wonderful?
Rich.
So you're deferring to my memory again, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Go.
Again, Wonderful. I'll tell you the honest story that I came up with the tune, and we both hit a little bit of an impasse.
Yeah.
Musically, in a situation where we're.
It's a nice word, impasse.
Yeah. And you did question why we were doing swing music.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, wow.
But
I wish I hadn't tapped into your memory now. No, well, put that one back.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's not that. We've done a lot of work towards a swing album.
Yeah,
and
we
not
have.
everything got used, and I was there still going, oh, I'm enthusiastic about swing.
Yeah,
Let's do some more. Don't know what we're going to do with it, but there we go.
Yeah.
So I understand the frustration,
Yeah,
and it's not
yeah,
like I'm not trying to bring it up for that reason. But saying that, so I laboured the thing with that. I kept going with it even after we weren't doing anything with it together. So So when we were due to go out to LA, the nod was given to me that he perhaps wants to write some swing stuff. And I thought, oh, crap. What have I got? Oh, I remembered this tune I got. So he said about swing music when we got there. And I said, I've got a bit of a swing tune. Do you want to hear it? So I put it on, and all it got on is piano, a bit of bass that we rattled together, and some of the guitar before we didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I then said, this is it. So there's no vocal on it. So I just said, I'm going to sing it. I just went, I started to sing it. And he looked at me, and like, as he's done on only a very rare occasion, kind of went, bang on time again. He said, can you sing that again? I went, yeah, okay. So I put it back on and sang it again. He said, that it's just, you were there, obviously.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. I said, I can't believe it, kind of thing. And so we then embarked on writing the lyrics, because there was no lyrics apart from the line was, how do you do all those wonderful things that you do? Which I loved it, because it was kind of, it was like it sounded like an old song.
Right.
Yeah, it
That
does,
kind of lyric,
It
not lyric, but the title being, how do you do all those wonderful things? You might not call the song these, you want to call it the short word these days.
Yeah.
Like he's called it Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
And again, I do think that's going to see the light of day. I really do. And hopefully in a really strong way. Not. It's hard sometimes to see songs. I want them to be out there. I want people to enjoy the music, but it's hard to see something has got more legs than just something that someone might put on.
Yeah.
To in a way sort of go to waste, if you like. But I think it's a much stronger song than that. And I do believe if he does do a new swing album, then that's going to play a part, I believe. I hope.
Yeah.
Touch wood,
Right. Yeah.
please.
Look forward to it.
Well, there's a couple that you mentioned on our last interview. I'm just wondering, Bionic and La Nina Susha.
Yeah, what do you remember those? Who do you remember?
I do remember them, but I
Bionic you didn't do.
No,
that was for my
yeah.
session in 2006.
Yes. Yeah.
I like Bionic. I think it's really, really. Have you heard it? Then?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, right. Sorry. Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't know.
Bionic, and I think Kelvin brought it up, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you put it on, you think, "Ooh, what's this?"
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting. And La Nina Susha was that again? Was that not a session?
That was earlier session.
Yeah.
Before I was on the scene.
Yes, it was, because it was the girl he was seeing.
That's right.
Later sold the story to the Sun.
Yeah.
She was actually doing a bit of a vocal on it. Like when I say vocal, a shout on it. And he asked about it because for some other project album that he maybe is closer to the,
Okay.
so maybe it gets included in that, because I sent off a new version of it, which initially kind of went, "Ooh, you've made it a bit soft." I went, "All right, have the original back then. Don't let it put you off." So he may see the light of day, but yeah, kind of an odd track, that one.
Right.
I think kind of very odd sounding, dirty
punky vibe.
punky vibe, punky electronic,
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is. Left of centre.
So have you got any funny moments or memories that you'd be happy to share? I mean, you've shared quite a few already, sharing a bed in Rob's LA house, or any other moments that you'd like to share?
That you'd be happy to share anyway.
Yeah, well, we're happy to share them anyway, I think.
Yeah. We've literally probably got thousands and thousands of funny moments.
What are your faves?
Yeah.
I think as we kind of alluded to earlier, we kept each other sane in a situation where, I think it would be, if you're left to your own thoughts and you're trying to make conclusions of things, you become unstuck a little bit. So we were constantly, helping each other from. Well, what do you think? And at least you've actually got another opinion.
Totally.
And Danny and Kelvin were kind of doing their thing as much as we were doing our thing.
Yeah.
And we were staying at the top
kind of counsel each other, don't you?
Yeah.
We were staying at the top of Rob's house in the flat there, like a flat thing, wasn't it? It's like a living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. So it was like a little self-contained flat. Anyway, we got the nod that Matt Lucas was coming around to the house.
Oh yeah,
as you do, as you get that kind of. And we discussed, we love Little Britain at the time, it was all...
Yeah, well, my first question was, who's Matt Lucas? She said, yeah, you did. I was like, I don't know who Matt Lucas is. George Dawes. Oh, yeah.
So we genuinely discussed this and said, if we see him, he's going to come around and stay at Rob's. If we see him, we're going to go... And normally, famous people, as you probably were, kind of introduce, hi, I'm Matt.
Yeah.
Right. So we knew that might happen. Mm-hmm. So we made the plan to say, if he does that, I'm going to go, yeah, no. Right.
He's probably never heard that before.
No.
I know. Yeah. Well, he's like, oh, not that again.
Well, the day came when he was supposed to turn up, and he never came.
Oh.
Right.
So we were sitting in the kitchen having a cup of tea on another day, 2 days later maybe. We walk into the hallway, and Mairead, Rob's housekeeper at the time, said, there was Matt Lucas right in front of us in the hallway. So he went, hi, I'm Matt. And she's going, this is Richard, this is Scott. And she said, hi, I'm Matt. And we went, all right, nice to meet you. We ran upstairs. To the little place where we
ran upstairs like kids.
It's Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas. Wow, yeah. So we immediately got YouTube on, started to watch some things, and he got one when he used to do the George Dawes thing, when he'd do it like a song. Anyway, he did this one called
I invented the tree.
Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah.
All that stuff.
Lesbians. That's why he did that. So we listened to that. We were killing ourselves laughing. Went down to the studio, started to do some work, and in walks Matt again. So he walks up and he said, started to chat to us. I'm doing some, would you like to write some songs? We're like, yeah, we'll write some songs with Matt Lucas as well. He loved Morning Sun at the time that had been released. He's saying, I can't wait to hit the light today, and it's great. What a great song, lads, brilliant. And we were like, and then he said, I write songs as well, I've got I said, yeah. I said, what was that thing we saw a bit ago, Scott? Was the one... I said, was it lesbians or something like that? And he went, oh, yeah, that's it. And we'd literally just heard it 2 minutes earlier upstairs. Probably never heard it before. And he started, that's it, starts to perform it in front of us. And he says, I've got another
little
one.
Private performance.
I've got another
just
one for you.
And
he did that one in 1942. I invented the shoe. And he did this thing. And it, again, an absolutely surreal moment. It goes on. Yeah. We watched the pilot he'd done in the middle of LA.
Yeah.
Watched it in Rob's bedroom with him. So we're sitting there watching this thing, and he's in it. This is weird.
And we're in the room with him. He's in it.
Yeah. And then he stayed in that white room in the front, and we'd had this big laugh with
I had to give that room up for him. I was in the white room.
Were you?
Yeah.
And he's staying in this white room. Not the rest of the house wasn't white, but this one room was white, and there was a leather wrestling. You've seen those like a leather man.
I know what you mean.
The
martial arts ones, the human weight.
It's got the weight of a man.
Yeah.
Like that.
So this joke had been going on all day where we'd take it round the front and things like that. I didn't do that one. You ring the doorbell and run off, and then you open the front door and
it just goes full body weight.
And he did that on you, didn't he?
Yeah, the security guard did. So Scott, I've rearranged my room. Do you want to come just see what you think? I'm thinking, gullible. Oh, interesting. Yeah. What have you done? Open the door. This freaking great big dummy falls straight on me, and everyone's laughing.
So we decide to put this leather man in after this. We put it in Matt Lucas's bed. Now, bear in mind, it's a black leather man. Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In a white room.
Okay.
You're going to spot it, are you? You're
Yeah.
going to walk
Yeah.
in the room and spot it. So he went into the room and we all sat outside like this, waiting.
This is going to be brilliant.
He'd never bat an eyelid. I think he knew we were playing a trick on him.
He's like, yeah, I've seen this one before. Yeah. The old martial arts dummy trick. Fine.
That old martial arts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, surreal moments by a long chalk. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
And Scott, anything stick out for you?
I'm just trying to think.
Because I've got another one if you want me to go.
Yeah. Are you on about the one where I went out into...
Go on.
There's a couple of garden moments. There's one which are quite funny.
Right, intriguing.
Was it the one where... Go on, you.
Well, I won't tell the story. You just join in when you.
Well, I don't know which one it'll be. So you go on. You say which one are you on about? You'll have you will remember it better than I will, and probably have better comedy timing with it.
We arrived one time. Well,
Yeah.
It was the morning after we'd arrived, so it was the first morning.
Yeah.
Got in the kitchen, had a cup of tea. So we went outside onto the lawn. It was because you got loads of dogs. It's like mind the dog crap.
Yeah.
I don't think you managed to do that. That was okay. Once you negotiated that.
Yeah.
So we went out onto the lawn. It overlooked part of LA, so it was like mountains and like lots of houses you can see right up there, Beverly Hills, right on the hill.
Yeah.
Scott's there going, yeah, wow, this is fantastic. Wow, this is amazing.
What on earth are we doing here?
Sat down on this sun lounge like with a cup of tea, leaned back and went, shut the tea right over his head.
It literally, the whole thing went. That was my first venture into Rob's garden.
So he's there covered in tea.
It's rich.
Covered in tea.
Yeah, he's like, covered in tea.
No, what was the one you thinking of? Sorry.
The swimming pool one. Do you remember that?
No, go on.
The shoot. Do you remember? So he had a chef at the time, a really lovely guy called Graham, Scottish guy, and Graham would always say, "Come on, lads," he's like, "Use the pool. It's not an ornament." And of course, you go to someone's house at first, you don't want to just get straight in your cosy and jump in the pool. Do you know what I mean? It's just you feel a bit self-conscious.
Yes.
You're trying to be polite.
You're exactly that, because it's same as I was saying earlier.
So no one's been in the pool, have they? Because it's like you just don't want to be the guy who's out there. Oh, thanks, I'm in the pool already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, a couple of friends had turned up to see us, haven't they?
So I don't know this story. Can you?
You were there. You were on the balcony watching me, laughing, and so they were kind of, does anyone Mairead, I think it was, anyone want to go in the pool? Anyone? And I'm like, do you know, I really do want to go in the pool. Yeah, that'd be great. And he got this shoot and everything that went down to it, and it's like, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
I'm in if everyone else is. Looked like everyone else was going to be in on it. Yeah. Anyway, you remember this now?
I know. Go on, I'm listening.
So Mairead's like, no problem. There's some. Go get your shorts on and whatnot. So I went and got my shorts on and whatnot, towel and everything, and no one else came. It was just me. Yeah. And everyone's on the. Do you remember this now?
I think I remember talking to you.
It was when a couple of friends, remember Steve and I think he came. Our friends came over.
Oh, Steve, right? Yeah.
And they were all on the balcony,
Just watching you.
just watching me. And Mairead's, go on then, go on the shoot. And I'm just there thinking, gosh, I feel so stupid. On my own, the only one.
Yeah.
Down the street, splash, nice one. Went back inside.
I think go on.
Everyone was just on the balcony going, yeah, nice one. So yeah, that was a slightly humiliating experience, to say the least.
I think it's important what we were saying earlier, that you don't want to. You never go to people's houses and I mean, don't take this wrong. You can do what you want to do, but the point is, you don't do it naturally. You're more up that way. You're kind of reserved a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's you.
There's me on the shoot.
Brilliant.
With everyone laughing at me. Yeah. So anyway, because they had to switch it on and everything, didn't they?
Oh, heated up for you.
Yeah, no, they had to go. The chute has
Oh, the
water,
chute,
obviously water. Otherwise, you wouldn't go
Oh,
anywhere. You
yeah,
just
yeah.
stop. So switch on the chute across the thing just for me. Like, oh, brilliant. Anyway, yeah. So that was
That's
quite
a funny
quite a
moment.
funny one.
You obviously
Yeah.
felt more than yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no one was bothered. It was just a funny thing,
Yeah.
to happen. Yeah.
So if you could rewind back to one moment in your career and relive it, what would it be?
I really enjoyed the writing sessions. As much as it's lovely when something sees the light of day, the sad thing about that is, you're suddenly up for criticism. I've done things and you don't want to read that someone thinks your song is crap, basically. So you haven't got that, have you? You haven't got that within that environment. You've got plaudits in a small way, but they're all going, wow, well done, that's a great song, love that, thanks, I'll do. I'll go home now. When it comes out to the light of day, and especially in this modern age, you've got people waiting out over the keyboard going, oh, something's come out, let's criticise it. So I don't enjoy that side of it, but I do enjoy the writing. I enjoyed being in LA. And I know that sounds a bit like, well, why wouldn't you enjoy being in LA? But we were working.
Yeah,
we weren't really the US authorities. We were staying with a friend.
That's another funny story. Slight tangent.
Go on. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, this was funny actually. So when we first got there, speaking of working in LA, we didn't work.
We didn't
promise
speak,
you. And we weren't paid anything for it. Anyway, so we got there, and obviously you get to America, and like the police and the authorities are way more serious.
Yes.
They make our police look like lovely cuddly teddy bears, And we got there, and there's this big guy.
I went through.
Rich went through. I'm like, get your ass in there. And he's like sitting there like this. And he goes, next. He sort of don't even look at you. It's like, oh, welcome to America. And
where are you staying?
He says, where are you staying?
What are you staying? What are you doing?
And he said,
I'm edgy going, don't say this,
God.
Scott.
We've got it all sort of staying with a friend.
Got it all sorted, yeah.
What's your
Is the address?
You doing business in my country? My country. He said, no, sir, I'm fine, sir. No work. He said, so is that when you leaving? Great accent, isn't it? Is that when you're leaving? Yeah, South African. So he said, is that when you're leaving? Yeah, yes, we'll leave then. That's when we're going. Okay, you make damn sure you do. It's serious, it's like that.
Yeah.
And then he said, sir, give me the address of your friend. Right, so we're like, Clarendon Drive, he goes, his face completely changes.
Because you know where it was.
Right, yeah.
Is your friend Michael Jackson? He said, have a nice day. Is your friend Michael Jackson? Have a nice day. Oh, this is amazing. I completely changed.
Yeah, he changed. Yeah,
we were laughing our heads off. We was like, oh, that's good. Yeah, he's all friendly now.
You just said yes and walked through.
He is. Anyway. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. So you were explaining about where you would like to relive.
Rewind.
I think it is those.
I
enjoyed those moments. I enjoyed the creativity in the environment it was.
Yeah.
And I talked about pressure early, but it wasn't. It's not normal pressure. It's a different kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And I feel that I quite enjoy that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice, really. I would. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that part of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing it now. In fact, I do find though, and that's the honest truth, there's a lot of inconvenience about flying out to LA. 10-hour flight, and then by the time you're driven to his house, and then you've unpacked your stuff, and then maybe a day and a half later you can get something done. If it's in this country, you can just go there, do 2 days work, come on the train and get back again. So I enjoy that kind of convenience more. But I think I'd go back to that creative time, and that was great. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, for me, slightly boring answer, but I wouldn't actually be anywhere else again. I don't feel the desire to be.
Right.
Yeah.
I see it for what it is. I'm more interested in moving forwards. It is a slightly boring answer, and people have probably said this before, but I really do.
Robbie said it.
Well, I think. Oh, is that right? Well, I think back to okay. Well, I think back to things places that I've been, and I'm really grateful for them. I'm really interested to reflect on them. We talk about them all the time, me and Rich, and I really enjoy that. But no, I don't. I feel very odd about being somewhere in the past.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited about the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really am, and I love, you know, doing this now. You know, and
Yeah.
what projects we've got going on at the moment. I'm dead excited about.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's my
Oh.
my answer.
You made me feel stupid.
That's why I wanted you to go first.
I was answering the question about if you could relive something in the past.
Stay in the present, Maggie. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right, so.
Bloody boring.
Yeah, boring git. Anyway, sorry,
No.
I'm allowed to say git.
Yeah.
So some questions that we asked Rich last time, but we'd like to ask you as well, Scott. And Rich,
Yeah.
you can change your answers if you'd like to from last time. Not that we can remember what they were, but you know. So what's the best thing about working with Rob? First to Scott.
Best thing about working with Rob. I think I'm most impressed by Rob's creativity. Seriously, you know, that when we sit and have a session with him, the way that he analyzes things and the way that his idea generation is just really inspiring and interesting to me. He's got a different way of thinking about things. He says things you don't expect, you know, which is brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Cool.
Over to you.
In a way, he's probably stolen my answer because it sounds like something I could have said before that he doesn't get the credit. So I do enjoy that side because ultimately he's the conduit to which any ideas or you might have see the light of day.
Yeah.
And I think his take on it is very important. I'm sometimes ultimately shocked by how he changes stuff, for the better. You know, I feel I'm kind of a musical person. I think music. I think that's what I do. I don't do anything else really that well.
You do, but anyway.
But the point I'm making is, you it's hard to get in the head of other people, but when it actually manifests itself, I can say that word. But when it comes out of the other person and they take what you've done and do something different, when you think, wow, you know. And as I've said before, he doesn't get credit for doing that. He ends up with, well, you know, he's like some kind of, he's not a puppet, is he, by any stretch?
No.
Certainly in this modern, you might have accused somebody of that being in Take That or in those early days, but you know, there was always obviously something there brewing away.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be the person he was, but I find it's that expansion of our ideas, or the ability to actually maybe listen to something we've done and say, actually, why would I change that? That's amazing, and that's a real compliment, and that's a huge strength.
Yeah.
Some other people wouldn't have that. They'd have to go.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to change it. I've got to put my own thing on it, even if it's not a good idea. And I think he learned that lesson. He learned that lesson as he's gone on, but he's got the strength to be able to go, no, let's do that.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Great.
I do, yeah.
Cool. And Scott, coming to you first, what's the song you're most proud of?
The song I'm most proud of.
Today.
To be honest, Morning Sun.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. I mean, I thought that was a magic moment that we shared, and it was it just happened to be the first one that we ever wrote in that sense together. You know, but really, really proud of that track in so many ways. You know,
I could have said Morning Sun. I love Morning Sun, and you've just given that one. So I know. But what I was going to say was I'm
the same one.
No. I'm also going to. At the same time, I'm going to steal. I'm going to steal something that you've just said, and this is pretty. I'm not being. I'm being candid about it. Is that we've got stuff that, as you're aware of, hasn't seen the light of day yet, and stuff we're doing now.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Our ability has got stronger, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think I can't wait, in a way, to inflict these new things on.
Good word, inflict.
Yeah.
Have this.
I think there's, again, swing music-wise, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but this is what I believe. I don't think there's anybody necessarily around him that does it as well as we do. I'm sure there's people who are quite able to do it, and perhaps I'm saying the wrong thing here, but I do believe we do it well. And we've hit that point where I think that the new stuff is probably
What
where
you're
I'm at.
proudest
I
of.
love
Yeah.
Money Son. I love
Right.
everything we've done. I don't think it hit that point where it's become an actual out there record. It's had a lot of thought and a lot of effort,
Yeah.
and they're all my favourites
Yes.
without being too.
Yeah.
But the new stuff, because I think our ability's better now. I think,
Right.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
our judgment's better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whether that's just my
Yeah,
opinion
you're
or not, I
looking-
don't know. But
You're looking forward.
yeah.
So, what's in store for Daft Dog Productions then? What other things have you got planned? What direction are you going in?
Well, we are doing some more swing stuff.
Cool.
That's all I can say at this point.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
And we certainly we've got ideas to do. Well, if we put a project together that either we could do or Rob might want to do as well.
Yeah.
So it's we've got a little idea to put a bunch of things together of a genre, perhaps, you know, I don't know, let's call it, for want of a better expression, dancier, disco-y type music.
Right.
I'm going to say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
We love that. We
when we stand in that in the pub talking,
Yeah.
that's what we really
Yeah.
kind of looking forward to. Not that we're in the pub every night, we're not. But
on a Wednesday.
on a Wednesday, yeah, we get quite vibed up and excited about that, don't we? We love that stuff, don't we? That was,
And I think what will come out of that will be some really strong stuff because we love it.
yeah.
And it might be something that maybe Rob might latch onto some of it. I don't know, but I do believe from our own point of view, that's what we might try and then see if that.
Yeah.
It'd be probably the first time we're doing something just not for a project, but something that we love doing, and then see what comes of it.
I think there's a real strength in that in general, which is just doing something for the sake of doing it.
So it starts with
Let's
you
just
guys.
make
Yeah.
something great.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about its end sort of home, and then you have fun then, and then good things happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And we're also writing something that's going to be for a show, or potentially for a show.
Yes.
We're not written it yet, but we it's on the cards for us to do. Whether
That's an interesting project.
when it ends, when it sees the light of day, or not. But you got to dip your toe in the water and see what happens. Yeah.
Could be quite a big thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting project.
Yeah.
That's
Very
also,
interesting. Yeah.
That's also good. Whether it pays bills or not, that's nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Scott, have you got a favourite Robbie song? Like, it can be any song, any of his songs.
Well, I remember there was the sort of 50th birthday message and thing. My favourite song in that I cited. It's difficult to choose because there's a lot of his songs that I really like, but this particular one was a cover version of Lewis Taylor track called Love Light.
Yeah.
And it's talking about me being a music fan of somebody. I've been for many years a fan of Lewis Taylor,
Right.
and I heard Rob's version of it, and I just thought it was freaking great.
Yeah.
You know, I really like his take on it, and it really does something different from Lewis Taylor's version. So that's I could listen to that till the cows come home.
Right.
I just think it's really good. So yeah, I could go on for
I love that
quite a
song.
while,
Yeah.
but
That's brilliant.
I really like that track. Is there anything else that I would cite as something that really? I just think Rock DJ is an amazing song, and it's great because brothers Andrew, Spencer, and Scott were involved with that one, so that's good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Heavily involved. Yeah,
Wow.
That's another story. So, Rich, go on over to you.
Well, sorry, I'm asking the same question. Obviously, again, I said something on that, put Mr. Bojangles on the birthday thing.
Yeah.
But I think he always can't stop there for me. I have also said in the past, I love tripping.
Oh yeah.
And I quite like radio as well.
Yeah.
I love Supreme. Is it called Supreme? Or
Supreme, yeah.
yeah, Supreme. Yeah. I like Come Undone as well.
Yeah,
I know
I was going to say that one.
Keep
as well.
rattling them off, but
Come on.
and I might
Dance
be,
for me.
I might be more of
great.
the hits type person because I'm a very pop thing, and I know a lot of fans might like things that are slightly obscure, which is good because when our tracks don't make it, they're quite obscure. So they might like them. That's always good. But I like things not because they're successful. I kind of know why they're successful.
Yeah.
a bit of a Matrix moment for me in music
Yeah.
is that I know why that's successful because it's Ace.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I've listened to a few there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I would just add one more to the list,
Oh, go on.
which I think the track is amazing and the video is freaking amazing as well, which is Reeboks.
Yes.
It's just
Ah.
that blows my mind. That song. I mean, I could listen to it over and
Yeah.
over. It's so cool.
It
One of the
is.
coolest
I think
things I think he's ever done.
Do you think the backing vocals aren't really good though?
I was a bit unsure about them, to be honest.
Because I
That's you,
don't know
right?
who did them.
Yeah. Some guy from Stoke somewhere. Yeah, but no, that's
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah, we do.
so
It has a
so-
place in
And
our
I
heart.
kind of played you my
Yeah.
take on it last time.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I
you
haven't
did.
finished. I still haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, love to hear more of that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on the show. We could talk
Thank
to
you
you
for
for
having us.
hours, and we will continue to after the show.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
It's lovely to see your creative partnership and hear your story right from the beginning. And I think Lucy and I can see why Rob enjoys working with you. We can feel why Rob enjoys working with you. And long may it continue.
Yes.
We know there's a
Yes,
lot of more
indeed.
Songs in the vault. And
Yeah,
as you say, you're
there
working
are.
on more. So
Oh, yeah.
we
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
watch this
Yeah.
space.
We hope for more.
Yeah.
And can we say thank you to you because the way that you've interviewed us has been so enabling and relaxed. And
Oh,
so
good.
thank you. It's been a real honour to be involved and to be asked. And you've
Aw.
come such a long way and
Oh,
set
pleasure.
up all these amazing mic stands in the studio. So thank you so much.
You've not
It's
pressed
a
record.
pleasure. Oh, yeah, let's do it all again.
Oh, gagging there at the end.
forgot
I
that.
like
And
it.
I just want to also add to that.
Where does your humour end?
No. Just, where does it begin?
Where does it begin? Yeah, where does your humour begin? That was it. I couldn't remember. Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, I'm sorry if we've rattled on in a kind of
Not at
tangenty
all.
way.
No, it's good.
Because
The more content, the better, Rich.
all right, okay.
I woke him up when you were doing your bit.
Wake up. Yeah. But no, thank you as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I'm sure we'll come back for part 3.
Yeah, let's go and have a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.